Welcome to Off to Dialog, this time in English. Well, I'm here now because I received a parcel from the USA coming from Dave Baker. Well, I didn't open it yet, so I don't know what's inside. But let's solve the mystery and take a look what's in. Okay, there's a Super 8 reel and a sticker. Oh wow, that's The Curse of the Werewolf. That's the brand new digest from Dave Baker, published in 2020. Wow, that's awesome, and I really want to know more about it. So let's talk with Dave about his new digest, and we establish now a direct connection to Florida, USA. Hello, Dave.
Hello there. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Just great. Just great.
Dave, I've got a parcel from you, and after I open it, I found a sensational Super 8 treasure, your digest, The Curse of the Werewolf. That's absolutely great. Well, I haven't seen it yet, but I suppose it's a classic werewolf story. Can you tell me more about it?
Yeah, it was a 1961 Hammer film made in England, and it starred Oliver Reed as the werewolf. It was actually a pretty good movie. It was one of the best I felt werewolf movies ever made, really, and it was one of the first ones that was in really good color. So it was a great Hammer film.
So that's the reason why you choose this movie, because it's one of the best werewolf movies ever made?
I feel so. And the makeup is fabulous, and they're the script writing and the production values are great, and the sets are beautiful. And the acting is really good too. I mean, it's and then too, one reason why I chose that is because it was never released by any other Super 8 film company back in the day, in the 70s or whenever. It was never touched. Mm-hmm. So I felt that it was one that should have been, and it's one of my favorites. So I want to see it on Super 8.
How long is the running time? How many feet does it have?
It runs about 11 and a half minutes, but it has a 1 minute TV trailer at the beginning. It's the original 1961 preview that was aired on television when it was playing local theaters. So that's attached to the front of it. So the actual digest itself is 10 minutes from the film.
So it starts with the trailer followed by the digest. That sounds very cool. Before, you said that the movie was shot in color, but I've seen on the sticker that it is a black and white digest. Why did you decide to produce this digest without color?
It was very atmospheric, and it reminded me of the old Universal horror movies and the old castle films that we used to get, like House of Frankenstein and Dracula, and and it had that very dark, kind of creepy atmosphere. The black and white, all those old black and white horror movies really did it. Mm-hmm. So that's why I had it released in black and white, to kind of honor. It would be an homage to those previous digests.
What was the source material?
I had a 16 millimeter print, so I edited my digest from my 16 millimeter print. And my print was in color, but it was somewhat faded. Mm-hmm. So, what you do is that was the source material, an actual film.
That sounds very interesting. When we are in technical issues, how is the working process from the first idea to the final product?
what happens is, you have an idea, and what I did, instead of, cutting my film all to pieces to try and come up with something, is you do a digital cut to help you out with the real film. So, and then you do several of them, and then you end up, you may combine two different ones to make, there's just different ways to go about it. So that's what I did, but it was pretty easy because I already had the idea here. So, and you may do a couple different ones, and then you end up, once you decide, which one that is best, then I went to the film and edited the film and then spliced it all together. And then I would run that on my projector and see, if I needed to do anything more. But that helps me from cutting my films to shreds.
And so you have the 16 millimeter original. What's coming next?
You mean after that? I send it to the film company to produce the negative for Super 8. And so then off that 16 millimeter print, they produce the negative for Super 8. And I receive an answer print for me to inspect, because the answer print is a 16 millimeter cut of exactly what I sent them. And then this way, if there's any changes or anything, or if I don't like it, I let them know. So, however, pretty much everything that I send has been perfect.
So now we have the 16 millimeter master negative, which is the source for making copies. But when someone orders the Curse of the Werewolf, what happens?
Whenever I order prints of Curse of the Werewolf, the company then produces the Super 8 film version. Then those films are sent to the sound striper, who puts magnetic sound stripe on the films for the sound recording, which happens later after they're shipped overseas back to me. Then I send those prints out to my sound recorder person. They record the sound, send them back to me. Then I send them to you, the finished product.
So tell me, how many miles does such a copy has to travel before it arrives at the customer?
Well, it's thousands of miles, because it has to cross the Atlantic. It has to cross Europe, the Atlantic, and then back to wherever it's going, to England or to Germany or to Italy or to Spain. I sell worldwide.
How many copies have been sold yet?
I'd say probably about 20.
And who likes Curse of the Werewolf most? I mean, in which country was it ordered most often?
Great Britain.
And did you get feedback from your customers?
Yes, I do. Not everybody, but most people, they'll go on different forums on the internet and they'll talk about their film that they got. And it's got rave reviews. Nobody's has said anything negative about it. No one, not that I know of, other than, oh, why is it in black and white? But they're going, oh, it's hammer, it should be color, and all this, But otherwise, other than little comments like that, it's been well received.
What is the price for one copy of Curse of the Werewolf?
Right now, cost, the price of all the materials and the services it keeps going up. So right now it's still available you can get it for 150 USD. And that means United States denomination of monies, which is the dollar. And that would include pretty much shipping, So, and it includes the cost to have the sound put on your print. But I also offer too prints that are have no sound on them, because some people have the ability to record sound in their language. So they will ask if they can have what's called a muted digest. And that's at a reduced cost, because then I don't charge them the cost of recording sound.
Okay.
So if you were in Germany and you wanted a muted copy, it would cost you less. Or any other foreign country, Italy or Spain, or what, you want to record it in Spanish.
$150 for a Super 8 digest. Someone might say, wow, that's expensive. I can buy the whole feature in high definition on Blu-ray for $10.
Oh, sure. But this is film. This is not. This is analog. This is not digital. So there's a difference, of course, and because it's not as common. Film collecting, filmmaking on real film is not. It's not like it was 40, 50 years ago, where that's what everybody had. There was no such thing as VHS or Betamax or a DVD player or a Blu-ray player or a 4 HD player or whatever. There was no digital. It was analog. So that's what this is. And so now, because it's not so common, not that many people, manufacturers in the world still make film, actual film. So that's why the cost. But then again, if you go back to the 70s, and you used to be able to get a 200-foot sound digest, it would cost you probably, I don't know, $40, $50 US dollars. Well, but you have to do the inflation from the 70s to now. Well, that's going to equal the 150 now. So you're actually paying the same rate that you would have 50 years ago. Only, you got to include the inflation. So it's the same. But see, here's the problem with that. A lot of collectors have a mindset that because they paid $70 or $60 for a 400-foot Ken film that was, like, example, 1 million years BC with Raquel Welch, and they paid $69.95 in 1975. They're still thinking that that's what they should pay for this. See, they can't get that out of their mind. This is not 1975. And a lot of those people, oh, that's too much. Just like you said, oh, that's way too much. Well, it's not. It's the same. You have to get out of that mindset. So a lot of people realize, most film collectors, they realize that. Yeah.
Curse of the Werewolf is not the only digest you published already. Which movies did you also release on Super 8 yet?
At the same time I released Curse of the Werewolf, I also released Jurassic Park. And then from there, I released Godzilla, King of the Monsters, a 30-minute version. And then I also, to coincide with the new Kong versus Godzilla that was released this past summer, I released a 200-foot color sound version of the original King Kong versus Godzilla in color. And it's actually just the battle, which is great. And then more recently, at the end of last month, I had released a new 30-minute color in surround sound of Jaws. So far, of Jaws, I have sold 14 prints. So usually I will tell you, I have to sell around 20 to 25 prints before I break even on the investment.
Let me ask you, why do you do this? I mean, why do you produce new Super 8 digests?
So it's kind of like it's fun, and it's stuff that we never, most of us never had. They never made or made available to most of us when we were young collecting Super 8. And since now we can do this, and so now, and of course, I'm a big fan of the genre and all that. So these are things I wanted as a kid and younger. So now it's amazing that I have this ability where I can do this, and not just for myself, but and then offer it to the rest of the film collector world. And by doing that, I'm finding that there are so many film collectors out there that they believe the same thing I do, and they want this, and they think this is so cool. So it's revival of the hobby. It's reviving.
That sounds absolutely great. Dave, I can't wait to watch it. So, thank you so much for this gorgeous game. It's fantastic what you're doing for the Super 8 community. Thank you for this interview, and I wish you a wonderful movie-like day.
Thank you for having me.
Bye bye. And if you would like to order a copy of Dave's Curse of the Werewolf, you can find his contact details on my website off2.de/English, where you can find also all the other interviews I did so far with English subtitles. We will now have a brief look in the beginning of this gorgeous reel. I hope you enjoy it. See you soon on Off 2, and let's watch.
Two big new thrillers in one spine-tingling show. Thriller number one, The Curse of the Werewolf. Half man, half wolf. His beast blood demanded that he kill, even as his human soul cried out for love.
You say you love me, will you marry me?
Yes. Yes, I will.
But under the full moon, the dream of love became a nightmare.
Get away! Get away!
Oh,
Get away!
Plus, the shadow of the cat. One cat, 9 lives. Walter, Clara, Andrew, Beth, Michael, Jacob, Edgar, Louise, Ella. 9 lives on the edge of terror. Was it supernatural force or psychotic compulsion? Terrific together. The Curse of the Werewolf in color and The Shadow of the Cat at your theater only.
worrying about your girlfriend downstairs. She won't miss you, dear. For just a few minutes. All right, dear. Careful. Here. What's the idea? That's what you came for. You came to the wrong place. Have a good mind.
Ah.